you have to pay $14.99. Interesting. That's a weird way of positioning it. I think this is kind of disingenuous. FAB Marketplace is live, and in this video we're going to go over everything related to FAB and the quixelbridge migration and a brief overview of what's been going on, basically. So I know I said I would start my Lord of the Rings Online journey and I would start posting my videos for the Hunter class. I do have a lot of the recordings already. I just need to edit them and put them up, so apologies there. I did get sidetracked a little bit, and that's why I'm making this video. And sidetracked, which I think is going to be like more of a main track. Basically, I have started diving into Unreal Engine as well as UEFN, which is the Unreal Engine for Fortnite. And recently, there was a big change that came to game dev use of marketplace assets from Epic, namely the Megascans and what happened with them. They are going to be discontinued going by the end of this year. If you don't already have them in your FAB library, which launched today, you will no longer have access to them. So the FAB library, now if you go into Unreal Engine in your Epic Games launcher and you go to Marketplace, you'll see FAB is like the front and center. It's like your marketplace, and you can explore it. And basically this is the new marketplace that Epic has, and it's for everyone. It's not just for Unreal Engine, it's not just for UEFN, it's for everyone. So I'm going to start exploring. And as you can see, when you first log in to FAB, you'll see this screen, and you'll see this little handy little thing right here, which is get all Quixel Megascans for free. I've already claimed them by clicking the button. You may want to hold off on it because they are free until the end of 2024. And the reason I say you may want to hold off on it is because they haven't added all of the Megascans in yet. So right now, if you click the Megascans claimed, if you decide to do it today, what will happen is you will get close to 17,000 assets. Just you'll own them right away. So all Megascans are free to everyone under FAB's standard license use, or standard license until the end of 2024 for all engines and tools. Claim them now and download them from the Quixel profile. So when you go to Quixel profile, you can see what you own. So if you just click on, where is it? License type, standard license, which is the professional or personal license, I think. But anyways, I'm not going to click on that right now. So that's to filter everything. But if you just search for and click on any of these products, you'll see that you already own them if you click that button, and then you can download them. So the language here is slightly confusing. It says claim them now and download them from the Quixel profile. You don't need to download them, from my understanding, as of yet. The reason being these frequently asked questions. It says, where can I find the assets once claimed? For now, you can download assets individually from Quixel profile on FAB. We're working on a solution to add all Megascans to your FAB library and allow you to easily manage them. Stay tuned for more details. Which assets are included? All Megascans available on FAB are free to claim until the end of the year. This includes over 17,000 assets from original Megascans library, along with 10 packs released at launch, and any Megascans published between now and the end of the year. Under which license will I get these assets? You'll get the assets under the FAB standard license. So let's see what the FAB standard license is. Basically, it is you are granted a license to that content by the content licensor. The content licensor may be Epic or another party who uploaded the content to Epic Marketplace. When a party other than Epic is a content licensor, the content licensor will be identified in the Epic Marketplace before you complete your transaction. If a content licensor is not identified in the Epic Marketplace, Epic is the content licensor for that content. So what is being sold? Whatever is being purchased or acquired is basically a license to the content. You are not granted ownership of any content offered or for sale or sold on Epic Marketplace. License agreements. Each time you complete a transaction, you enter into or reaffirm your prior agreement to this agreement with each content licensor granting you a license from that transaction. This means you enter into this agreement with each content licensor who grants you a license. Content license grant. So there's several tiers of the licensing. So before completing a transaction, you may be required to select between personal, reference only, a personal tier and a professional tier. You are only eligible for a personal reference only tier or personal tier if at the time of the transaction, you, together with any controlling entity and other entities under common control with you, have not generated more than $100,000 US in gross revenue from your commercial activity in the digital content industry in the last 12 months. So you can feel pretty safe in knowing that you're going to be getting the personal tier or the personal reference only tier license if you've made under $100,000 in the last 12 months for content generation or for game development or anything like that. For the purposes of this calculation, revenue includes any advances received or other funds raised. So if you've got an Epic Mega Grant, for example, that will be included in this. If you complete a transaction for a license tier you are not eligible for at the time of purchase, you must, upon request, pay Epic the remainder of what you would have owed had you purchased a license tier you were eligible for. So so if you weren't eligible, for example, for the personal tier, and let's say within the next 12 months, let's say you get all these right, you get them now, and by October next year, you've earned over 100,000 in gross revenue, you may have to pay Epic back for the professional tier purchases of these assets, or depending on the assets that you've used I don't know if they'll include all assets or if only the ones that you used in the game or whatever you've created. So be very careful with this. If you get these assets, I would say wait 12 months before you use them to generate anything that might earn you a lot of money. If it's not going to earn you much money, go for it. As long as you're under that 100,000 threshold, you're good to go. Standard content license, except as stated in section 2C, when you complete a transaction for a license tier you're eligible for, the content licensor grants you a standard license as defined in 3A. So let's see what the definition of a standard license is. Grants you a non-exclusive and non-transferable license to privately use, reproduce, display, perform, and modify the content in accordance with the terms of this agreement. This means that as long as you're not violating this agreement, such as by using the content in violation of any applicable law or regulation, or for any unlawful purpose, you can privately use the content however you want under standard license. If you want to share the content and anything you make with it, sections 4 and 5 address when and how you can do that. Okay, so let's see. You may also make some content available for however, we do not guarantee that you will always be able to re-download or re-access content. Reasons for removal may include takedown due to intellectual property infringement or other legal violations, seller violation of terms and obsolescence, backup content. So they do encourage you to download the content because they might remove it at a moment's notice. So keep that in mind. Even though it doesn't expressly say that you need to download all of these assets, you will have access to them. They might get removed, they might get replaced, and once that happens, you won't have those previous assets. So it is a good idea for everyone to download these once you have them. And how can you share projects you've made with content? So this is going to be relevant to me. I'm going to read it, and it might be relevant to a lot of game devs or even UEFN creators. So I think it mentions here, where is it? It said it in here, did it not? Oh no, it's 3A. I went too far up. So right here, 4 and 5 address how you can do that. So 4 says you can share content projects we've made. How can you share them? Projects. If under a standard license, you develop projects that are 1, made using the content, or 2, combine the content with any other software or content, regardless of how much or little of the content is used, collectively projects, you may only distribute these projects as expressly permitted under this agreement. Distribute means with respect to a project to provide or otherwise make a copy of the project available publicly or to any other person or entity, or make the project's functionality available on a network. Distributing linear media projects. Subject to any applicable restrictions in section 6, you may freely distribute a project that is a rendered linear media project. This means, for example, you may freely distribute rendered video files, images, movies, cartoons, etc., and images created using content. Distribution distributing other projects. Subject to any applicable restrictions in Section 6, you may distribute a project that incorporates content as an included dependency to end users. When you make such a distribution, you may, however, only authorize end users to make use of the content solely as incorporated in the project in the object code, and you must restrict end users from extracting or otherwise using content outside of the project. You may use third parties to market and distribute a project on your behalf in accordance with this agreement. This means, for example, you may distribute software applications such as video games that include content to the general public, whether directly by you or through a distributor or publisher. You and your end users may also, 1, use the content incorporated into the project in promotional materials featuring the project, and 2, develop systems to protect against prohibited content or activity. So you can use all of this under the standard license and make video games, make videos, and distribute them. No restrictions really, other than I'm guessing these restrictions are related to PDF file content or really egregious content that shouldn't exist, basically. How can you share content on its own? Sharing of content under a standard license. You may not distribute content on a standard standalone basis to third parties except to your collaborators who are utilizing the content in good faith to develop a project with you or on your behalf. This means, for example, you may share content with your employees, affiliates, and contractors in a private online repository while you work on a project together. Those collaborators you share content with are not permitted to further distribute the content and must delete the content once it is no longer needed for developing a project with you or on your behalf. You are responsible for ensuring that any third parties you share content with comply with all terms of this agreement. You are solely liable for any violation of this agreement by collaborators with respect to any content you share. So keep that in mind. If you are the project lead, if you are creating a game and you've got outside contractors hired, you've got third-party affiliates or anything like that, you want to make sure your agreements with them are airtight, and you do let them know that they are not allowed to use this information or these assets for anything other than the production of the work that you are working on. If you don't do that, you could be held liable by Epic for any misuse of that content. Plugin distribution. Distribution of plugins in source format to your employees, affiliates, and contractors is permitted so long as use by those employees, affiliates, and contractors does not cause you to exceed the number of paid users you have purchased the plugin. Any such distribution will be subject to the terms of Section 5 of the agreement. Additionally, for Unreal Engine plugins, any projects you incorporate plugins into may only be distributed as engine tools under the Unreal Engine agreement. Content use restrictions. You can't combine, distribute, or otherwise use content license to you with a standard license with any other code, other content which is covered by another license or directly or indirectly. So can't do that. You cannot attempt to reverse engineer, decompile, translate, disassemble, and so on, recreate, sell, rent, or lease. Allow any third party to incorporate content into their own product. Use the content in violation of applicable law. Use the content in any manner which violates the rights of a third party. Remove, disable, circumvent, or modify any proprietary notice. Use non-AI content in datasets utilized by generative AI programs in the development of generative AI programs as training inputs to generative AI programs. And basically don't use this stuff to create AI because this is not what it's meant for. That's those are the big ones, I think. And yeah, other than that, it's just, going into the jurisdiction and so on of disputes. Get Adobe Substance 3D free. Redeem a free 6-month subscription to Adobe Substance Painter and Modeler when you upload your first product to FAB before May 31st, 2025. So you can get that, earn 88% revenue share. FAB is here to help you build a new creator economy, and it can only succeed if you do that. If you do, that's why our free fee structure prioritizes sellers with an industry-leading 88% revenue share. Your buyer audience just got bigger. Opens new worlds of opportunity. You can now sell content for any industry or platform and under multiple license types. Streamline your workflow. Creator resources, migrating content, Epic developer community, ArtStation learning. Okay, so that's once you accept the agreement, you can start earning on FAB as well. I didn't realize that's what it was for. I just read the agreement because I wanted to read it. So I'm going to go back to my library, and now we know what the agreement entails. Basically, you can use these for anything that you want, for any products or any projects that you're working on. You just can't reverse engineer. You can't use them or give them to third parties to use in it whichever way they like. You need to make sure that you address those concerns if you're working with others. And any Megascans you claim for free on FAB are yours to keep under the FAB license standard even after they become paid. So as long as you claim them, they're going to be yours. Like I said, though, you may want to download them because they may replace them or remove them from FAB anytime. But yeah, that's essentially a crash course in FAB and the new marketplace for Epic and for everyone, really. Because if you go to my library, for example, and you type, or if you, I think there's Discover. That's where I need to go. So as you can see, platforms currently supported are Unity, Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine for Fortnite. And when you click free here, you'll see all of the assets that you've got that are free for Unreal Engine Fortnite, for example. I already own this item, and it's for UEFN. It's a standard license. If we go back and we select Unreal Engine and click free here, it'll show you all the ones that you already own and don't own. Let's see. I want to click on ones that I own. Is there any way to see which ones I already own? So there isn't. But the Megascans, I'm just going to go to the next page because these are just other things from every creator. Let's see where the Megascans are at. So a lot of this stuff that you don't necessarily have, so keep that in mind. All these are free, so if you need any of these things, so stylized hero images, this looks like 2D assets from faith-based games, Creative Commons, Attribution CC by 4.0. So that basically tells you what type of license it is. Make sure you click on this to see what the license entails. Share, copy, and redistribute in many media for any person, even commercially. So you're able to adapt, remix, transform. So basically, this is free, free to use, and it's open source. Another example, let's see this Junkyard. This is by Epic. So you've got the standard license, and it's yours forever, and you can download it anytime. And let's see any others. So this is another Creative Commons, which means it is free to use. You don't have any issues with using this in any of your games and so on. And it's by Marketplace. So there's a lot of additional things that you can download. So this is, for some reason, labeled mature. I don't know why, because it's urban trash. I don't know why it was labeled mature. But anyways, it's age rating mature for this. Makes no sense to me. It's just trash. Ignore the age rating for some of these things, but yeah, so you own that. And then, yeah, a lot of Creative Commons here. So this is free assets at Creative Commons. As soon as you see that, it says attribution, which means you must give appropriate credit, provide a link to the license, and indicate if changes were made. You may do so in a reasonable manner, but not in a way that suggests the licensor endorses your use. Basically, you just need to attribute. If you're using these, make sure you give proper attribution in your credits or in your game or whatever you're using. So when you see this Creative Commons or attribution, make sure you do that. Because if you don't, then you are falling afoul of that license agreement and you could face penalties. So this is, I don't know, web view. Not sure what this is, but it's also in Chinese, so I don't understand it. Or I guess that's just examples that they've used, but it allows you to have some rendering cache, parallel rendering. I don't know. Anyways, so a lot of stuff in here. Make sure you check it out. Make sure... Ooh, height map. Winter is coming. That's a nice height map, actually. I would definitely use this. Creative Commons Attribution. Height map master. Let's see if he's got any other free stuff. Ice World. So the only free one he has is the Winter is Coming, which is pretty cool. So height maps are always nice to get. I didn't know that there would be these. So this is Tactical Helmet. It's from DB Studio, and it's a standard license, but it's, why does it say free? Personal, professional is free. So professional studio can get this for free, which makes no sense to me. But a standard personal license, you have to pay $14.99. Interesting. That's a weird way of positioning it. I think this is kind of disingenuous. So be on the lookout for stuff like this as well, where they say it's free, but it's from free, not, you know, free. And again, this one's going to be another one of these most likely. Yeah, so license, personal one is free, but the professional one's 99 cents. So this one's obviously going in the right direction, but that previous one was kind of shady because it's very easy to assume that it's free for you when it's actually not, and you might select the wrong license. So make sure you don't fall for things like that. This video is turning out to be longer than I thought it would be because I'm seeing some interesting cases here. So this one, it says free standard license. It's a free sample, royalty free music, 10 tracks free from RPG Orchestral Legacy. Supported for all these engines. Again, standard license, you can use it any way you want as long as you made under 100,000. Unfinished building, you own this. Megascans, standard license from Epic. Quixel. So yeah, just explore this. Now's the time to do it because you only have until the end of the year to figure this out. But this was a crash course once again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.